Of all the vertical markets that Ruckus serves, Ruckus's technology resonates very well with that of the education market. Now, this list comprises some things that are important to some customers, but the order of it is really depending on the individual organization that we're dealing with. The most important probably is that of high density. Having 30 plus people per classroom, 30 plus devices per classroom, is really very high density. Now, our competitors always say 1 AP per classroom. Now, we tend to back off of that a little bit. Now, I don't recommend that we go to, say, 1 to every 2 classrooms, 1 for every 60 with any kind of throughput. Probably not great, but you can go, say, 2 APs to every 3 classrooms. That would be something reasonable, all depending on what they want to do. But high density goes beyond just how many APs per classroom. All of that comes into play, and that's what really resonates with the education market. Beamforming resonates very well because it provides high throughput. Airtime fairness, band steering, things like client load balancing, all are very important to talk about when pitching the high density piece, which is going to resonate well with them. Reliability is of course important with any customer, but you'll see that a few of these on here are very important to education because they tend to not have an IT staff that has a lot of time on their hands. They have to support a dozen different pieces of software, and they don't want to have to deal with Wi-Fi. So the more reliable it is and the more hands-off, the better for them. Coverage is, of course, paramount. Now, coverage is something that we can do, and really everyone can do with the right number of APs. The upside of Ruckus is we just tend to do it with fewer access points, which results in lower cost. One of the biggest challenges in education, especially when you get into university education, is that of keeping Wi-Fi secure, but making it easy to implement. It's high security like 802.1x, again, very secure, but very difficult to implement when you have a lot of people bringing their own laptops from home. So dynamic PSK is something that resonates very, very well with education. In fact, we've had customers that once they have learned about dynamic PSK, all the rest of this was just gravy. That's what they really purchased from. So don't ever forget to talk about dynamic PSK, especially to an education customer. It does resonate very well with them. Ease of use is something that goes along with reliability. They want to make sure that they don't have to take a lot of time to learn it. And if it's very reliable and they don't have to touch the system for 3 weeks, it needs to be intuitive when they do need to make a change. And Ruckus is probably the best out there at ease of use, especially when coupled with all the features they can have. Now, sometimes TCO, total cost of ownership, of course, should be at the top of this list. How much does it cost? Education is on very tight budgets, but it will almost always be on the list with most public education systems because money is always important to them and to spend it wisely. Total cost of ownership, fewer APs, easier to manage, those are some simple things that resonate well with our customers. So education, a very, very good market for Ruckus. We highly recommend that when you're pursuing different verticals, education is something we do very well. Our messaging works well for it, and this list you see is really the ammunition you have to go out there and be successful in the education market.